Welcome back to the ReEducation Camp podcast. Karen O'Toole and Colin Miller hanging out today. Took a little break last week because I was in the Big Easy in New Orleans, Colin, a little bit closer to Florida territory in the South,
Yeah,
where we're hoping that I eventually, Colin wants me to relocate. He wants his whole family and friends to relocate. So
I
he
am
never.
advocating for that big time.
But I have to say about New Orleans, have you ever been there?
No, I've never been.
Okay.
I would like to go, but I've never been.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people, and even I was had some reservations about like how raunchy it might be in the evening, like on Bourbon Street. But I have to say, it really wasn't that bad. I had been there with my dad and brother like 2008, right before I started college. And I was a little bit like at night, I knew we'd be going out, we'd be on Bourbon Street, we'd be on Frenchman Street. And I was a little bit concerned that it would be like a little bit too extra for me as far as like the debauchery goes. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't that bad. I will say they are pretty wild down there. I don't know how some people live. I imagine that people don't really live full time in like the French Quarter, like super close to Bourbon, or even like we were on Frenchman Street. It was like a Sunday night and like a Monday night, and these people are just out. Like it's just everybody's out, everybody's loud. There's music, the streets are blocked off. It's like you feel like it's like the 4th of July and it's just a Monday night in New Orleans. So God bless those people. They know how to party, I suppose, down there, but it was cool. It was cool. It was a fun time. Ate a lot of food, a ridiculous amount of food. And that was probably the most of my trip. But if you've never been there and you like to eat, I highly recommend going. It was a lot of fun. It was a
Did
lot
you
of fun, New
have
Orleans.
any? Did you have like an authentic Cajun dish when you were there?
Yeah, we had crawfish when we were there. That was the first time I ever had crawfish. I could be wrong about this. Somebody can correct me, but we call them crayfish in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you grew up calling them crayfish.
No, I've never heard of that
Yeah,
expression before.
really? Crayfish? Okay.
No,
Well, I saw like a
crawfish.
map where people were like, yeah, I would call them crayfish. And they're not that big, like in Pennsylvania. Like I've only seen like a few, and they're like really, really small. But oh, sorry.
God bless
These
you.
ones were very big. They're very big and they were fine. I'm not like super into them or anything. So I had some of that. I had
I'm not super into crawfish.
not into
I don't know if I've
Yeah,
ever had one.
yeah, I had it just for the sake of having it. I had some oysters. They were good. They were cooked. I didn't do the raw stuff. I don't like to mess around with the raw, especially on vacation.
You
That
got to be
kind of,
careful. You
yeah,
do
I gotta
have to be
be,
careful. Although
yeah,
I
I
do
gotta,
love like raw tuna, raw sushi. I do enjoy that
yeah.
quite a bit.
I've had raw tuna and like it's fine, but when I'm away from my house, I just don't want to roll the dice. I don't want to ruin my trip. You know what I'm saying? Like if you
Right.
get
You don't want to be
sick,
like you don't want to have your head down a toilet bowl in some hotel
yeah,
room like,
yeah, you want to
you'll
be
end
sick
up
at home, not.
and you could rupture your vocal cords that way, by the way. That's
Oh
the
my
thing.
God. Oh my God. What would we do? My
That's what I'm saying. You have to think of first and foremost
this
this
yeah.
illustrious
What would my
podcast.
poor husband do if I couldn't speak and he didn't have to listen to me incessantly all day? What would he ever do? Uh,
I don't know, man.
but yeah, so yeah, I did have some. We went to two places that were more like Louisiana food, that like kind of served in that, and some awesome food, some
Did
good
you do any
meals.
voodoo? Get into any like dark activities of
So
any sort while you were down there?
so you know me, I'm always into the dark arts. Now, I we went to this. Okay, so number one, we met these really cool locals at this like dive bar around the corner from this place. It was in the Garden District. We went to this dive bar. It was like somebody's lounge, and it was right before we went to an old New Orleans staple called Commander's Palace. So we were all dressed up because they have a dress code. And I said to the bartender, like, I just got water. And she like literally said, she's like, well, this is a dive bar. And I was like, oh, yeah, we're just dressed up because we're going to Commander's Palace. And so then some of the old timers at the bar started talking to us, and this awesome black guy he literally looked like he could have been like Obama's father or something. Like that's just what he looked like. He was like
Maybe he was.
skinny and thin. Yeah, who knows? But he was so funny and just was like giving us some tips and telling us like what to avoid, what to do. He was just so funny and just so real. And he was at some point in time, I said something about like generationally, like there's generational differences. And he's like, you don't have to tell me about that. He's like, I'm going to say whatever it is I want to say. I'm a senior citizen. Arrest me. And I was like, I love this man. I'm going to start using that. I'm just going to be like, arrest me. So, yeah, so he was real fun. He was opinionated guy and just it was cool. But they had told us about this place called the Dungeon. And they're like, "Oh, you got to go to the dungeon. You got to go to the dungeon." And like it's been there since the 70s and it's kind of like a goth bar. And so we were like, "Okay, we got to go to the dungeon." Like and I had a little bit of fear because I do not like the dark arts and I flee from the dark arts. So we go to the dungeon and I'm expecting like there to be some kind of aura there or to be a little freaked out or stuff going on that I'm not really comfortable with. And instead, it was like going to the haunted house at Knoebels amusement park in Pennsylvania. Like that's the
I thought you were
vibe.
gonna say Disney World, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
no, it was, yeah, it's probably I wouldn't give it the same so for anybody listening that's never been to the Knoebels haunted house, it's kind of like hokey. It's like a hokey kind of thing. And that's exactly what this bar was like. There was a cool, I don't know what it's called. The music machines that like you flip through to pick the music.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
It's
about. It's not
not
it's not a jukebox.
it's not actually a jukebox, but it's like one of those bigger ones that like I think came along later. Not the old school jukebox, but like
They used to have them at the local Pizza Hut that I would go to with my parents as a kid. They had one of those in there. So I know exactly what you're talking
yes,
about.
yeah, it's not a jukebox, and I'm sorry, I don't know exactly I guess in a sense it's a jukebox. But I like that because they had like all the music like pre-selected. So it was like all this old punk music. But yeah, it was just very funny. Like New Orleans has all these cool buildings that have like real brick and they have like fake brick in there. It's like fake brick. It's just it really was just funny. And they have like an upstairs and a downstairs. So the scariest thing about the dungeon is we're sitting there, my husband and I are across from our friends, and one of our friends goes, "Hey, I don't mean to freak you guys out right now, but a cockroach just scurried down the wall behind you." So like immediately we get up. I'm like
I'd be out of there,
in my
man.
hair like this. Yeah. So that was actually there. It wasn't the dark arts. It wasn't like the Satanist that scared me. It wasn't the voodoo. It wasn't the tarot cards. It was the cockroaches. That were actually the scariest in New Orleans. So yeah, so people should definitely check it out. Go, don't be afraid. Oh, I didn't mention about the guy ODing in the. Oh yeah, so this happened too. Okay, so friend of mine wants to go play pickleball for whatever reason. Okay, like
That's big down here,
we gotta
pickleball.
go play pickleball, and so we go to this pickleball place and there is a car accident like right outside of the pickleball place and like cops like blocking the road, and then we're like, "Hey, can we like go play pickleball?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, you guys can go there." So here I overhear the owner of the pickleball place explaining what happened, and I like go on Google to like fact check. Some guy OD'd in a parking lot. The female cop gives him naloxone. He ends up dragging the cop. Like he like wakes up, starts driving the car. The cop's being drugged by the vehicle. He hits a pedestrian. The cop shoots him right outside of the pickleball place. We
Oh
were
my
there
god.
within like an hour of all of this going down. So maybe don't visit New Orleans. I don't know. But yeah, so we
Well, I think
just were shy of missing the police shooting. So fun times.
I think WrestleMania is going to be there next year, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe I'll go down for that. Who knows? Or go over. I guess it's like to the
Okay, yeah,
if you're looking at
yeah.
a
It's
map, it's to
probably
the
like
left of me.
yeah, it's probably like up and over. All right, well, yeah.
Yeah,
So well maybe we'll all go. We'll have to
yeah. in memory of a dear friend
of a
of
dear
ours
friend.
who used to,
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be looking down as I'm watching Backlash live on pay-per-view tonight with my dominoes. So
Awesome. With your domino.
yeah, with my
For when
dominoes.
I
Ye-
didn't think of pizza when you said that. I thought of like actual dominoes, like the game.
No, I don't really play dominoes. I mean,
Yeah, no. If
I
like
don't.
if somebody told me I was gonna die and like I had to play dominoes and know what was going on and be able to keep score or death, I'd probably have to decide death because I have no idea how to play dominoes. So I played it like once, but it's not like
There's a
I'm
good
like,
Genesis song called Domino off of the Invisible Touch album from
okay,
'86. It's a 10-minute or so long song. I encourage you to check it out. It's some of their best work,
okay.
in my
Listen, I
opinion.
check out everything. You tell me to listen to Phil Collins. I'm like, all right, I'll listen to Phil Collins. You tell me to watch True Detective. I'm watching True Detective. I take people's recommendations very
Well,
seriously.
I've
I
got the
always,
best
yeah.
taste in like pretty much everything. So if I tell you you should check something out,
Okay.
you can take that to the woodshed or something. If I don't know if that's an expression.
So
Take
you
it to the
just went
bank.
to, yes. So
There
you
you go.
just went to mass today because
I did.
Pope Leonardo DiCaprio
That's right.
just was
Pope
voted
Leo.
in by the conclave the other day. And how was the feeling? What's the whole feeling of the Catholics right now? Like, were people excited about this American Pope?
I think people are. I mean, I'm excited, but
Yeah.
it's funny because most of the comments you see on social media, on X, it's always like from somebody who's not Catholic. Like the people who have the most to say about the new pope are like all non-Catholics, and they're bringing up
Like Ben Shapiro.
I right, like Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, who's
Yeah.
evangelical.
Yeah. Is
Like
he Catholic? Yeah.
he made this video and he like starts off the video with, "Now I'm not Catholic," and it's like, okay, stop right there. Then shut up. Like this is the head of the Catholic Church. This is supposed to be the vicar of Christ. He's the shepherd, the representative on earth of Christ. So
Charlie,
I'm
you're not.
yeah, you're not Charlie. You keep the Sabbath on a Saturday for some reason. I don't know if you
Oh,
heard him say
really? He
that. Yeah.
does?
Yeah, very odd, huh?
Oh, God. What is he?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
no.
but
Okay.
but in any case, I feel pretty positive about this pope because actually during the homily that the priest gave at mass, he was talking about how the reason why he chose the name Leo, Pope Leo the 13th, I guess, died in like 1903. But anyway, he was involved. He started up some sort of Catholic social something or other. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this Pope's one of his big missions is to bring awareness to the dangers that AI can potentially impose on human dignity, like taking people's jobs away, making people obsolete in a sense.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
hear people, all these non-Catholics online talking about how, oh, this is a continuation of Francis, more globalism. It's like the globalists would be pushing the AI, like your Klaus
Yeah.
Schwab
Yeah.
types. They're the ones that want this AI control grid put in place. So that made me feel pretty good to learn that he wants to raise awareness about that because quite frankly, I don't really hear the current administration in this country talking about the dangers of AI, really. If anything, they're very lax on it, which I think has a lot to do with the money that came from guys like Musk and Bezos,
Teal.
etc., and so forth.
Yeah.
But
Oh, wait. I said Teal, but actually, he didn't give him any money this time around.
I don't know if Bezos gave him money either, but I know Musk did. Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously, we know
He
we
like
know that
bankrolled the whole campaign essentially.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Like Elon got him and put in office, pretty much. But in any case, Getting back to the Pope, I like that he's American. I like that he's a Chicago guy. Spent a lot of time in Peru, serving in Peru. I know that he did retweet a Kanye West post years ago with Jesus Walks or whatever that album is going #1. I saw that he retweeted that.
Good
So
for him.
yeah, I thought that that was pretty cool. You know, a lot of our
Yeah.
best people are from Chicago. You know, we have the fabulous Nicholas J. Fuentes. We've got Ye. So there's a lot of good America
Oh
First
my.
Chicago people out there, if you know what I'm saying. So I feel pretty comfortable, pretty good about this new pope.
Well, I saw a video and I know I'm sorry that I don't have this confirmed, but these kid I don't want to say kids, but like maybe people my age or so were all excited because like I guess their mother had a situationship with the Pope back when she was like 19 or something. So
Ah,
can you imagine like your mom almost dated the Pope? Like,
it's
can you
pretty
imagine?
wild.
So, which kind of makes sense. If he was going to go in the priesthood, maybe he kind of, I don't know the full details. Like, maybe he almost dated her. Maybe they went on one date. Maybe like he kind of liked her. They had some kind of, you get what I'm, some kind of vibes going on. But can you
Yeah.
imagine that was your mom that like kind of almost defrocked the future pope?
That is pretty wild. I knew somebody, well, my mom knew somebody who she used to work with who actually did defrock a priest. Um,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, pretty I mean, I guess that happens probably a lot. You know,
Yeah,
you have to figure.
my one of my great uncles was married to a former nun. So, but I think they met post her being in the nunnery, I
I
guess.
bet you that there's a lot of like priests and nuns that have like these secret relationships that they conceal. I guarantee you that that's a prevalent thing because it's not really like a natural way to go about life. I don't
Yeah.
think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to not have, you know, just to
Yeah.
like celibacy forever seems a bit excessive, but
I think that I remember there was like a book that they did about the nuns of like Appalachia, and I remember hearing about that. And this was before women unfortunately had feminism thrust upon us, and now we have to work and do things with our lives. But
yeah,
no,
nice going.
I'm joking, I'm joking. But those nuns would drive. They had a lot of like autonomy. They did a lot of cool things. Whereas like a lot of the women at that time didn't have the autonomy that like the nuns had in that realm because it probably wasn't a very structured region of the church. And I remember thinking that was really cool. Like I remember hearing that when I was young and thinking like, oh, that was probably really neat. Like that probably would have been fun to do that at that time. But now we live in such a quote unquote liberated world where it's like women do drive and women work or they live in their own and they own their own houses and it's not like you're really inhibited anymore. So I don't know if it's as interesting. My mom and dad both grew up Catholic, and I think my mom told me she worked at a restaurant and their biggest drinkers, like the two people that would drink the most, were the nuns and the Philadelphia Flyers, like the players of the Flyers, and the nuns would have like the biggest bar tabs at the restaurant. So more power to them. I mean, I guess you gotta enjoy life somehow if you're
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had my fair share of experiences with nuns having gone to Catholic school from preschool through 12. And I gotta tell you, there was one cool nun in second grade. She was our second grade teacher, Sister Regina. She was pretty cool. She was pretty nice. She played the acoustic guitar. But I'll say this in general, they're a mean bunch. They're a mean spirited
so
bunch.
weird that you say that though, because my mom told me that she had like one cool nun that played guitar too.
Yeah, there's
Like
always
she,
one. There's
there's
always like
always
the
like
hip
one
nun
that,
that's
that
like very
like
progressive and plays the guitar, and then like the rest of them are just these like cold, sterile, frigid, like they've got the ruler cracking your knuckles. Although I never experienced that. They
I
weren't allowed to do that
But
at this
like
point.
there's like an archetype of woman. Like I have an aunt and a great aunt, and I'm sorry, I just hit the mic. And I know other women that I've known, and a lot of them are in the church, not the Catholic church. Some of these women I do know that I'm speaking of are Catholic though. But I know there's like this archetype of woman that just like she they have like that look about them. Like they just look stern and they're kind of
Yes.
miserable. And like both of the women I can think of, like my aunt and my great aunt, they are not married. They never had children. Well, the one's married, but they both never had children. They're both like very hyper miserable. And they're always like fighting everything. Like everything is a fight to them. Everything is like an argument. And like I said, I kind of know other women that I've met over the years, and they're all very similar. It's like they all are cut from the same cloth, and I can envision all of them being nuns, just being like they would be content being nuns, and like you have to follow the rules, and they've got the ruler. And yeah, I mean, my back in the day, my grandmother, she had like her hair cut by the nuns, like some crazy stuff. They used to have a lot of
Oh
power over
yeah.
those
Yeah, they
kids.
were
Like,
almost like SS guards or something. Like, like they were pretty they got pretty down and
so
dirty.
you only had one cool nun that can recall?
Yeah, there was really only one cool nun. There was
Wow.
another one who was principal who like my dad knew her as a child and like she wasn't too bad, but she was also sort of bitchy for lack of a better word. I will say when my dad was growing up, he also went to Catholic school, but he lived in an interesting household because his mom, my grandma, was Catholic, but his dad was Protestant, and he would always like refer to the nuns as like penguins, like angry penguins or something like that. So there was like an interesting dynamic in that household, which, like, by the way, that's like generally a bad idea, I feel, to marry somebody who is not the same religion. Like, as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's like I definitely need somebody who's Catholic for sure. I feel like that's
Yes.
like a requirement.
I agree with you on that. And I also believe, yeah, I think Catholic versus other Christian is almost a different religion. Like Catholic is, or you have to have that person like before they're married, like, okay, I'm going to become Catholic. Like I just went to a wedding last year where the bride was Catholic. They were married in a Catholic church, and the groom became Catholic from a different faith, a Christian faith. I also know somebody that didn't attend the wedding because it was in a Catholic church. So yeah, Catholic is very stringent, not stringent, but it really is like such a different. There's just something. So it's also with like the Orthodox churches too. Like that
Yes.
person needs to be, if you're Greek Orthodox, that person needs to be on board that they're going to be Greek Orthodox. Pretty much everything outside of that is a little bit different, but it is, you're right. I mean, the predictors for marriage are pretty much I think the big three is beliefs about faith and the afterlife, beliefs and behavior around finances, and then I think number three is
Boy.
children. Like those are the three. You need to have those conversations before you get married. And like you said, I think about the Catholic thing. Yeah, that's major. Like that's very, very major too. But I think you've got the right idea. You went to church today. I know there didn't sound like there was any eligible
It's a
young
very white hair
ladies.
kind of a church, but here's the deal. I'm going
Aren't
for
they
the
all?
mass. I'm going for the mass, you
You're
know?
going for the
I'm
mass. Yeah, you're
going
going for the
for
right
the sacrament, the
reasons. Yes.
Eucharist,
You're not going
etc.
just to meet a woman. Well, I have a friend too that like we're always like talking to him about like his marital, not marital, but like dating woes and trying to find a woman. And I feel like at least for you, you recognize like, okay, I've got to go to, if like my value is a woman who goes to Catholic mass and that is of my values, like I doesn't have tattoos, Like I
Yes,
need to
very
go
important.
to but I
Very
need to
important.
also be going to Catholic mass myself and not getting any tattoos
Right.
and being aligned with the person that I'm trying to meet and join my life together with. Whereas, like, we have this friend who, okay, he doesn't have any tattoos, but he was expressing that he does not like tattoos. But I almost feel
Good.
like he wants a woman that would go to church and, like, be into, like, have those values and be that type of person. But he doesn't want to actually have any of those values or do any of those things himself or go to church. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah,
you basically are
I
looking
do
for
get
this
it.
like Christian woman, but like you want to be like, oh yeah, I don't care about abortion and like whatever. I'm like liberal and I don't care and I don't want to go to church. What's up with that Bible stuff? But then it's like everything you want in a woman is essentially like a woman that like would read the Bible and adhere to all of those morals. Like even if you say that like you're not holding that person to that high of a standard, I feel like that's kind of the vibe I get. And I'm just like, well, yeah, like you're not gonna get like you're just gonna keep you're gonna find a barfly. Like that's where you
Exactly.
are,
You're
that's
gonna
where
find
you
a
hang.
barfly with like a
Yeah.
sleeve of tattoos and like crystals and shit
Yeah. It's
around her
like good
neck. And,
luck. Yeah.
I like crystals though. I do have
Yes,
crystals here on
yes.
my shelf. I still
We
believe
do.
in the
Yeah.
healing power of the frequencies from crystals. But in any
No, but
case,
you're right. It's like you're gonna find somebody that's like into crystals and like casting spells and just other witchy dark arts and yeah, good luck with that. Like good luck with that in the long
yeah,
run.
it's just
Like
gonna be too unstable. There's always gonna be some sort of controversy, for lack of a better word, that'll pop up in the midst
yeah.
of
Yeah.
your courtship, your relationship. So yeah, you're right though. I'm trying to be like, okay, listen, I know what would be right for me, so I have to
Adhere to that.
I have to go to mass and walk the walk, so to speak, as they
Well,
say.
I think that that's just the same for all of those. I don't want to say like when people have lists, but that's essentially what I mean. When people have like these standards, like I can only date a 10, and you're like, and the person's a 5. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
what is a
I can
10?
only, I don't know what a 10 is. I mean, what actress would I consider a 10 or actor? I'm trying to think of an actress. Hmm. Who's a 10? I don't know. You tell me who you think is a 10. I mean, I'm sure I'll
You know
agree.
who I love? I love Brooke Burke. Are you familiar with Brooke Burke?
Yeah, it's been a long time since like I've seen her or
Remember the
anything,
E
but
show
yeah.
Wild On?
Yes.
She was the
Yeah.
host of that. She's like
Yes.
50 something now, but I still think she's like super
She looks
hot.
really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
super fit, just great
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah. But like
Like,
you'll have so many guys that are like, I need a girl that looks like Brooke Burke. And it's like they've got like a pot belly. They're like, just you get
right, right. And
what I'm saying? They
I don't
got
want
like
to
a
be
pot
that.
belly. They're just like, yeah, it's like, well, no, like if that's the standard you have for that person, then you kind of need to live that too. And that's the same thing I think, like, okay, if you want a woman that is traditional and goes to church and has these good values, well, like you've got to live those values and like you said, walk the walk. And it's really applicable in all those phases. If you want a woman who's educated, then you should probably be educated yourself. Like you shouldn't have set forth these standards for these people. Or like, hey, let's even talk about, and we've talked about in the past, body count. If you expect to marry a woman who has a low body count, well, sure as hell, you better have a low body count. Who the hell do you think you are putting that precept upon a woman if you can't keep it together yourself and you have no self-control, right? Like that's just
I
the way
agree.
I just feel like any standard you're going to have for somebody else, you better be upholding that standard yourself. Like if you don't want a woman that drinks, then you shouldn't be drinking. If you want a woman that doesn't smoke pot, then what are you smoking pot for? I'm sorry if
I
I
want
got
a
a little
woman
too
who
close.
I want a woman who does fentanyl. I'm seeking a Catholic
Yes,
woman
yeah. A Catholic.
who dabbles in a little fent every now and again because it's no, it's just once in a
Yeah,
while.
you're like, Karen seemed to like fentanyl, and it can't be that bad. She doesn't
Right.
do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're a
Yeah.
prime example of that.
Yes,
So
yeah. I mean, it's good sometimes, and I
yeah.
haven't had it in a long time, and I don't use it that often. Just saying it feels good when you do. Okay, you just put
Hmm.
it in the IV, and you're like,
Yeah, a good God. I wish for like a good a good IV drip like Michael Jackson had sometimes. Like when I think about the issues I have with sleep, it's like, oh, if I could only be like MJ and
yeah.
have the doctor there. And
Which is like wild when you think about it, that like you can get to a point where you're so rich, they'll just like give you any drug. Like they'll just give you whatever it is you want. Like
look at
propofol,
Kanye. He was on the
here it is.
nitrous.
He was on nitro. Like, yeah, what? Like, who is giving
Yeah, how could
this?
you get nitrous as like a lay person?
Yeah, right.
You can't.
Yeah, like you can be so rich that they give you they're like, okay, propofol, all right, we'll get that right there for you, Mr. Michael Jackson. Like, no big. It's just really wild when you think, and then it's like people can't even get insulin. And they're like,
Right.
and these people are like you said, just getting literally whatever drug they want, whatever form, whatever. Literally have a doctor there hooking them up to an IV to go to sleep, and then other people can't have insulin. But don't worry, Trump is coming for all this because he just
Yeah,
said
he's
our conservative socialist president, our national socialist president.
hmm
I know that
That's
makes
right.
people shake in their boots.
I know it makes
Oh
everybody very
no,
uncomfortable,
it
but
makes people
when you
uncomfortable.
break down the terms, you really sometimes when you break down terms, it makes it a little less intimidating. It's almost like the
Yes.
manure philosophy. You ever see when George Costanza was trying to explain how manure is not really such a bad it's not a bad word actually, it's actually a positive thing because you have a ma which is good and then you have a nor manure it's actually a very positive thing. So it
Okay,
just made me
yeah.
think of
So
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, National Socialist is also kind of the direction in which President Trump is running. But
Hmm.
people are all up in arms because on Friday, Trump was saying that, hey, maybe the Republicans he would put a little bit more taxes on the rich. Like maybe the rich, and he even said, I'm willing to do it. I'm okay with it. If the Republicans want to do it, let's put a little bit more taxes on the rich. They'll act like, and he even said, they'll pretend like I said no new taxes, and they'll say that's why I can't get reelected, or that's why George H.W. Bush wasn't reelected, which I'm not sure why Trump would worry about being reelected,
Yeah,
but
he doesn't have. That's the thing. Like, he
yeah,
doesn't have to worry about being reelected. And does he really care about like the RNC and the Republican Party? Like, that was his platform that he used to become president. But does he really give a damn about the party? I don't.
no,
I don't
no, he
think
cares about
so.
Trump. All he cares about,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, so he said that he, as a rich person, was willing to pay a little bit more if it helped the lower and middle classes. And I can't even imagine. People must be like losing their minds right now. Like Trump is becoming like the most left-wing president, and he's about to supposedly he's cut ties. Direct communications with Netanyahu. He's been defending the Gazans. I mean, people are just
Yeah.
not prepared. But the funny thing is, he says things like this, and then the left wing acts like he's such a monster. And then he's out there saying things like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll pay a little bit more in
Yeah.
taxes.
He's like it's like all their talking points that he's sort of relaying.
Yeah, he's like those poor Palestinians.
Yeah, it's like we have to treat the Palestinians good. We have to take care of them. They've been suffering. He said that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw him say that.
And yeah, exactly. But they'll continue to act like he's because like they can't have like drag queen story hour on a Navy ship while it's going out to the Mediterranean to protect us. Like, God forbid we can't have the drag party on the ship. Like
Did you see
that's
that clip of Pete Hegseth, by the way, where basically he was like, "Where's no more of that gay shit?" Like that's basically what he said. He did use that expletive when he was talking
Oh
about,
my
we're
God.
not doing any more. There's no more drag queens. None of that shit. That's all over.
Which, like, why did we even have any of that in the first place? Like, I remember seeing there were photos of one of the Navy, like, and if that's what you do in your free time, like, that's fine. No one cares. But why do we have to have like the US seal of approval of this? It's like,
Hey, that's what
okay,
our first FBI director did. What's
oh,
his name? Hoover, right?
yeah, was it J. Edgar, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was,
J. Edgar.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was,
word
he
on the
was
street was that he liked a little cross dressing in
Oh,
his
he
spare
was
time.
wild. Yeah, he was real wild. He was basically out to get everybody else and reveal their secrets because I think his secrets were so much deeper and darker.
Yeah,
Like that really is the truth about J. Edgar Hoover, that he was like, okay, I can't have people know what I'm secretly doing. And it's like, hey, we get this. We get that people, they do whatever they do. They do their bizarre whatever. If you want to dress like a woman, but I remember these photos. I should pull them up. There was like photos of this Navy, who knows, shipman. I don't know. I'm just gonna make up a name or a rate. And he did like a drag show for his shipmates, and you could see their faces. Like a lot of them look like they're holding, and I'm talking about the women, I'm talking about the men, like all of them. Some of them you can just tell are holding back laughter, and the other ones are just bewildered. They're like, what are we
yeah.
doing
What is
here?
going on here?
What is this? You know? But like I said, like, why do we need, like, no, let's maybe protect them. Maybe let's pay them more money. Like, why do we have to do, like, my brother's in the Navy and like they give them garbage food. They're all like killing themselves all the time because they have no physical fit. That's the biggest thing that the military. If I could have a direct line to Pete Hegseth, if he would like to have a few drinks with me, because apparently he drinks a lot, and you know, if I could talk
I
to
can
Trump,
appreciate that.
I think that's the number one thing I would say to Trump. It's like you need to bring back physical training to the military because these guys and women, but especially the guys, like you would not believe the amount of suicides they have. And I'm not talking about when they're on the ship. I'm talking about like when they're in sunny San Diego, the amount of suicides they have. But there's no physical fitness. They don't do any training, and then they're just like miserable and there's nothing for them to do sitting around on base all the time and they're just like depressed. And it's like, well, here's drag hour to make you guys feel a little bit better. It's like, what? No, like I think it's like a rising tide raises all ships, and they need to bring back the standards. They need to make it, you should see some of the women too. I don't want to just say women, I'm sure there's men too. Like there's so many people in our military, like all they want to do is like get on which I don't blame them, okay? But they like want to get disabled. They want to get like those bennies
We talk
for
about it all the
life.
time. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is so crazy. You have like these women. My brother was telling me there was girls that they like don't want to break their acrylic nails. Like that's an automatic discharge in my book.
yeah, no,
You
we
can't
can't
do
have.
no. Yeah, if you can't do it because you don't break your nail, bye. Okay? You're not getting any pay. Goodbye. We will see you later. Like they need to
Imagine
bring
when
back
China
standards.
invades. Like these are.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is who's
My
defending
nail.
us.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that you, and to be honest with you, I think that you would see, I've seen it in my own life where you have like a teacher or you have a coach that really expects more out of you and you rise to the occasion. And I think right now it's going on in the military. It's like you have like Pete Buttigieg or whatever, and like Buttigieg, whatever his name is. Like,
Booty juice.
yeah,
That's what
Buttigieg.
Biden called it the one time.
I miss him. I miss
I
him
know,
so
so do
much.
I.
Yeah. But no, it's like we need to bring back standards to this. So I hope that that is something Pete Hegseth can do. I hear that he drinks all the time though. Is that true?
That's
That
the
he's like a
word that
drunk?
I hear as well too. That he's very fond of the drink.
Can you imagine just being like reading teleprompters off Fox News for like 8 years and getting paid millions of dollars? And then it's like, we're going to put you in charge of the military. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a good idea.
it's like an influencer cabinet of
Right?
sorts. It's like all
Did you,
influencers and Fox News people and like
it's like
what's
you.
what What is that attorney general doing? Like, is she gonna get fired? And because
Wait, did you see Judge Janine is going to be the acting district attorney or whatever for or the acting DA for Washington D.C.?
no, who is that?
Judge
Is she?
Janine from Fox News. The little short one with like the dark hair, the like fiery, like
I'm not sure
Latina,
who
like
that is.
Italian.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure who
Judge
that is.
Janine. Yeah, she's on Fox News. I'm like, like, does he really think these people are like capable of doing these jobs? I'm
I don't
pretty
even
sure
think it
she got a
matters though.
DUI too. Like,
Does it even really matter? I feel
yeah, it
like you
doesn't
could just kind
really.
of. I feel like we could be installed in one of these positions and sort of just, they call it on the job training. You just sort of like learn
Yeah,
as you go
yeah,
along. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, it's like, you know what, Colin.
I,
I think that Colin Miller would do an excellent job as a, I don't know, Secretary of the Interior.
I'd like to be like head of the DEA actually. Like,
I'm going to be
cuz
in charge of the CIA.
yeah, cuz I would like change our entire mission statement. Like we wouldn't even like focus on drugs anymore. Like we would promote them actually. It would be more of like
Be like,
a
what's so
root.
bad about fentanyl?
Yeah,
Okay, what's
exactly. That would be my message as head of the DEA.
Yeah, it is really weird though. Like there are really a lot of odd picks out there. Like Pete Hegseth, I think Judge Jeanine is going to be acting. I don't know that she's actually going to get the full nomination from what
She's
I
like the sub.
understand.
She's the
Yeah,
substitute
she's just
teacher,
the
just
sub, but
filling
still,
in.
it's still pretty crazy. Hold on, who else is there? I mean, the Secretary of Education, Linda
Oh, Linda McMahon.
McMahon.
Well, I support that a hundred
Yeah. Well,
percent.
she's
Linda.
trying to. Somebody was just like, you know, that Linda McMahon calls AI A1. Like she called A1, like A1 steak sauce,
Oh, did she?
apparently. But
That's awesome.
she's supposed to be shutting down the Department of Education. So it's like, well, who cares? Who cares if she's in charge of it? Like, whatever. It's
Why isn't
fine.
Vince in some sort of position? Like I feel
He
like
should be.
Donald, after everything poor Vince went through, like losing his baby, basically
Yes.
his whole life was the WWE, and now like he doesn't have any ownership whatsoever in it. Like he brought pro wrestling to the national stage, to the mainstream.
Wait, we forgot to like Dan Bongino is like in the
Oh, there
FBI.
you
Like,
go.
what
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah, my parents love Dan Bongino. Well, they used to when he had the show, but
Yeah,
now
yeah.
he's deputy director of the
I
FBI.
I've got to give it to those people though. Like I give them props though because they left really cushy positions to, I mean, like Bongino, like I don't want to really go too deep into this, but I kind of am very familiar with somebody who works with Bongino closely, speaks very highly of him. I mean, the guy makes a lot of money. He runs his own schedule. Like he has a great life and really didn't need to take that job. Like there was absolutely no reason why he needed to take that job whatsoever. Like he lived in a beautiful house, like I said, had ran his own schedule, had a very successful show, makes a lot of money, has some good business ventures. He was a busy guy, but I guess they see it as like serving your country and um
I
I
suppose
I suppose, yeah, I guess that's just like I said,
it can't be for the perks, because like I mean you're already successful and wealthy, and like what more?
Yeah, I don't feel like I know some people believe that there are perks to it. Like, okay, now you're in the government and perhaps that puts you on a different pedestal or a different trajectory as far as like social climbing. But I don't really think so. I think especially in a Trump administration, it's almost like a demerit socially. I feel like it's as if you're just going to have so much more personal attacks lobbied at you being in the Trump administration. I really feel like it's you do it at great personal risk, if
Yeah, for
anything. Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
And
like,
by the
think about
way, like
Pete Hegseth. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't see why any of these people like why did Dan Bongino have to stop doing his show? Like, is there a rule that says you can't be a podcaster and
I
the
think
deputy
there
FBI
I think there is
guy?
some kind of media situation, but I also believe, I would imagine that even more so, it's probably just the amount of energy and time that you put into it. Like, there's probably just not enough time to do both jobs well, I would
Yeah, but he could
think. I
just do
don't
like what we do. He could just like record like
once a week.
yeah, I'm sure he could find like an hour like once a
Yeah.
week just to,
I
sit
don't
in front of his
know.
iPhone.
Yeah, and he might, like I said, he might not be able to, like, he might not be me, and it might be a decorum issue, or it might actually be some kind of
I
government
think that they should be
rule.
I think like the cabinet members should have podcasts,
They
like
should, yeah.
ongoing
Tulsi
pod
Gabbard, just like, okay, so
Yes.
Security here and Pete Hegseth just get
Yeah.
together and do like a
And they should talk
podcast every
about
week.
like what like
What's
oh
going
can you
on?
believe like they should like get into like some inside baseball kind of stuff
Yeah.
on the
So, Pete, I
podcast.
heard you just canceled your trip to Tel Aviv. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's
Yeah,
going on? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. What
exactly.
did
Like what
Netanyahu say? Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah, I don't see I don't see why they can't do that, but that's just me.
Well, and just imagine like Pete Hegseth, like I said about him drinking. A couple of months ago, I knew nothing about Pete Hegseth. I just knew he was that guy that looked a little goofy on Fox News, and I never watched Fox News. If you asked me what his name was, I definitely would not have been able to tell you. I would have been like, oh, yeah, that guy is like on Fox News, but I wouldn't have known his name. I wouldn't really known that much about him. But now I'm sitting here like speculating about his drinking habit. So I think that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
like
I'm saying, like, if he wasn't in the administration, he would just be collecting millions of dollars from his Fox show and just having a good old life, not being able to go to the Hamptons on the weekends and not be bothered. And now it's like he's got to be at the Easter egg roll. Did you see that video when he was at the Easter egg roll with his kids and they're just like sitting there like,
no. No, I missed
yeah,
out
they're
on that
just,
one.
that was when there was all this talk that he was like getting fired. And now I guess like that's all disappeared. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly that sort of dissipated because I
Yeah.
thought that I thought something was going to come from that for sure, but
Yeah, I thought he was definitely gonna be out too. That just seemed however all the conversation was going. I don't know, it just seems it's weird though, because Trump's like such a mega narcissist, but like at the same time too, he doesn't seem like he really cares what most of these people are doing. Like he doesn't
yeah, he
seem
kind
like
of gives them a lot
he's
of like a long leash, a
yeah.
free reign sort of to just
Yeah.
conduct yourself however. I think that Mike Walls took a lot of the heat off of the whole
Yeah. The
Hegseth
signal.
situation with him
Yeah.
like allegedly reporting directly to Netanyahu, which is pretty wild. But
Yeah, no, I don't know. It just kind of like dissipated, but it's the news cycle. It's funny. Like I had gone away to New Orleans and I knew nothing about this like whole Shiloh Hendrix
oh, it
scandal,
was the worst time
and
for you to go on
it
vacation
was,
because I had a field day with that. That was we all had a field day with that.
well, yeah, and it was just so striking to me how what a great example about like how you won't even know anything's going on. Like if you just, I had no idea who Shiloh Hendrix was. I knew nothing about any of this, but of course, Colin was so grateful. I'm so grateful to him that he got me up to speed on all of the things I missed while I was on vacation. He made sure that I was no longer ignorant and I was back to what really mattered.
Well,
And I knew about the race riots happening. I knew that I guess there was no race riots that happened, but there
well,
was a
there
go.
might be. I think there
Yeah.
will be. If we're lucky, I think there'll be some race riots ahead.
Yeah,
Um,
there's probably gonna be like race riots over, wait, what was well, the Austin Metcalf
yep,
could end
Austin
up at,
Metcalf.
yeah, that could end
Now
up into
Shiloh.
yeah. And then that could end up in a race riot. And then Luigi, depending on what happens with him, that could end up into like a whole riot with some of those people with the healthcare and the socialism and yada yada yada. Did you hear about the musical they're doing like a Luigi musical in
Oh my
San
gosh.
Francisco, and it's already sold out. Like the run hasn't even begun, and the tickets already sold out. And I think the saddest thing about all of that is if Luigi truly was the killer, the mastermind behind all of that, he's clearly a very sick individual. Like he's clearly demented, and there's something mentally wrong with this poor kid. I did hear about him, like I swear this is where he wrote everything. He wrote a lot. God bless you. We're both it's weird that
Oh,
we both like we're sneezing and we're like not in the same, we're not even
I'm
in the
very
same
ducky
state.
today. I'm
We're
very
not
like
even in the
congested and
same.
stuffed up. Allergies are bad, but
Ugh.
anyway.
But Luigi, he like wrote a whole bunch of philosophical posts, I believe on LinkedIn of all places, which clearly shows how deranged he must have been, like writing these philosophical, uh, I don't know, essays on LinkedIn. And but like I
I'm gonna
said,
start doing that.
yeah,
Using LinkedIn as like my personal public diary. But
you
go
should.
ahead.
Like Shiloh Hendrix had a point, and I'm gonna express that point here on LinkedIn.
Yes, to any to my
Have you ever had your purse broken into?
it
We're
can
going
be
to
very
discuss that
traumatic, and
today here on LinkedIn.
sometimes you have to say what needs to be said to certain individuals is all I'm saying. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just crazy that all of the GoFundMe, like you could just have like one moment in your life and it just completely changes. Like you
I
just
know.
get rewarded for it.
I know. It's wild. Whether it be murdering somebody in cold blood or calling somebody a word, which I
Yeah,
think is less
severe.
offensive
Yeah.
personally, less
Yeah.
severe.
But like
But
you said, you could get like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like just crowdfund.
yeah,
It's like pretty unbelievable when you think about it. Like a six, I mean, just think about $600,000. Who? I mean, I guess if you have 10, like 60,000 people donate $10, still, that's like an unbelievable amount of people
yeah.
contributing to that. I don't know how much the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser raised.
Half a mil. It was 500,000, but I think Shiloh's up to last I saw 700,000.
Oh my
So she
God.
beat him. She beat
Wow.
him. God bless her.
Wow. And she
Um,
doesn't have like any legal fees, right? Like there's
no,
yeah, it's just for
I
her
don't
to
think
like buy a
so.
new house or something.
For her to relocate to
Really?
protect her family from the from the mob, from the woke mob.
Wow, that's crazy. She was like so fierce in that video. Like it was almost like she was not holding back. She was just like standing her ground. She wanted nothing to do. And so from what I understand, the guy recording the video was a pedophile or something like
He
that.
was on some sort of sex offender list, I believe, and like what was he doing in a park with like children? Like isn't that the question everyone should have been asking? Like what is this weird Somali guy like who's on this list?
And in what state was this?
Michigan.
Michigan. All right. Well, that's lovely.
Yeah, something to think about. But in
So
any case, Karen,
we need to scheme some kind of way that we get a GoFundMe. Like I just need to
I
start a
know we
GoFundMe. I was flipped off by a homeless person in Alabama and they like followed me in the car. So like I should have recorded that and then posted it and acted like I needed to move. That's
because a
there
homeless
was my
person.
golden Willy Wonka ticket right there. All I had to do was record what happened, which was I was just followed and flipped off by a deranged homeless person in Alabama. And you and I would be retired right now. We wouldn't have to do anything. But
Yeah, I
next
know.
time that happens, I'm going to have to just record it. I'm going to have to record any of the
It has to be the
moments.
right place, the right time. You've got to have that phone out. It's a real. It's like a It's
Golden.
serendipity, as they
Golden
say.
opportunity. Just a golden. It's pretty sad that we're in a state in America. Like the best thing that can happen to you is you get recorded saying the N-word. Like that's
Yeah, and then you can finally, you don't have to work anymore, thank God.
yeah. Like what's your retirement plan? Mine is to just say the N-word in the park and
Yeah.
like
And the next thing you know, you're buying you're relocating, getting a new home. I would buy a house in Italy. That's my thing
yeah.
now
Or
that I'm looking
stab
into.
somebody. That's the other option. Oh, I might just
Yeah.
stab someone
Yeah, or murder somebody in cold blood because
and
they
call it
asked you
self-defense
to
to
move. And
move.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, you
so
can
there
do
you
that.
go.
You
There's
have you
the
have options. You have
yeah.
options.
Yeah, we're
But
starting to see, and I mean, really, I do. It's as we're tongue in cheek talking about it, but truly, there is some truth to that because you see young kids, and it's not like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a surgeon, I want to be whatever. They're like, I want to be a TikTok influencer. Like, I want to dance on
right.
TikTok. That's what I want to do with the rest of my life. Like. You know what I mean? Like
And in some
nobody
small way, I can appreciate it. As
I can
somebody
appreciate yeah.
that detests work, I can appreciate that sort of mindset. But the world needs we need doctors and astronauts and
But maybe
people.
we don't. I mean, maybe AI is going to do all those
Yeah, you're
things for
right.
us
That's the thing. Like
anyway.
maybe we actually don't. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
And we'll
I
have
don't
to
know.
see. I know that
But
a lot of doctors, like they think that doctors will be lawyers, doctors. There will definitely be people that work with the artificial intelligence. It won't be
a
just
select
like
few.
yeah, it won't be like you just show up and the well, who knows? So the artificial intelligence will be able to take your temperature. You'll be able to explain what your symptoms are.
Well, you know
They'll be
what?
able
In
to spotty scan you and come up with some kind of diagnosis and a prognosis.
in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when Padme went into labor and was about to
Yeah.
give birth to Luke and Leia, it was robots that were delivering the baby. It wasn't people. It was robots, and they were explaining to Obi-Wan how she's losing the will to live. She's dying for reasons that they can't explain. So that could be a peek into our future. We could have robots delivering human babies now. So
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean that's but then it ends up being Darth Vader. So I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if they
Darth
want
Vader was a good guy. He killed a lot of people, but ultimately he did fulfill the prophecy of bringing balance to the Force. Because ultimately he threw the Emperor Palpatine down the reactor core in Return of the Jedi.
all
So the
right,
prophecy
okay.
was fulfilled. Ultimately, it just took his son to bring that goodness, Anakin Skywalker, back out of him. So it was a different. He took a different path, but ultimately he fulfilled his prophecy.
That all just occurred to me because I've pretty much only watched Star Wars and then Empire Strikes Back and then Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. And I usually don't watch The Return of the Jedi. So I don't even know that I understood all of that occurred. I just am such a big fan of Empire Strikes Back that like I don't even I just
It's
love
good,
that movie. It's good. No,
great
Return of the
movie.
Jedi, the Ewoks like kind of turned me off. I'm like Harrison Ford with the Ewoks.
Oh my god,
God bless you. You're dying.
I am dying. I apologize. Okay, listen, we're gonna have to wrap this up because
We are
I'm
gonna have
I'm
to.
gonna die. I need to blow my nose. I need to turn on the pay-per-view. Is
Okay.
Backlash. John Cena is defending against Randy Orton tonight in the main event. And I'm gonna order some Domino's and watch it with the cat, like a good little incel. So I'm happy that you're back though. I'm happy because you know how annoyed I get when you go on these little trips because it's
Yes.
like I try and tell you that life is not about experiences. It's not about seeing the world. It's about doom scrolling. It's about sitting in your home and just staring at your phone and being connected 24/7 to every event that's going on around the world simultaneously. That is what life is about, and I want you to keep that in mind, going forward we need to knock off this
I'm
vacation.
sorry.
Yes,
I'm
although I am
sorry.
thinking of planning a trip to Italy, so there's that.
All right. All right.
But it's my
Well,
turn now, though. You know, it's my
it is your
turn
turn.
to take a bite out of the fruit and let the juices drip down
Yes.
my chin.
And I'll be
Pretty much
texting
just
you the
had
whole
to.
time, like, you need to get home. Pete Hegseth impregnated Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Oh, I would go like right. I would stop everything I was doing. Like if I was in the
I'll be
Vatican,
there.
if I was getting if I was getting a tour of the Vatican or the Colosseum, I would pull the phone right out and just not even pay attention.
Yeah, yeah. You'll be like, I don't even know what's going on, Pope Leo. I need to leave immediately. There's an
Yeah.
emergency. I need
Yeah.
to.
Emergency meeting with Karen. But listen, this is
But
this has been
God.
fun though. I'm glad you're back. And we'll do this again next week and we'll have more fun talking about all the things that we talk about. I didn't know how to end this. Can you end it?
No big. I will end it. Colin, I hope you feel better. I hope that you enjoy. I hope everybody enjoys a little bit of this pay-per-view event. I don't know which pay-per-view is on.
It's Backlash. You see, John
Backlash,
John Cena
backlash.
became champion at WrestleMania,
Oh,
and
okay,
now
okay.
now he's defending. This is his
I was
first
gonna
title
say
defense.
Monday Night Raw, but I'm like, it's Saturday, so it's definitely not
Yes.
Monday Night Raw. So enjoy Backlash, and I will be taking you up on your recommendation, watching a little bit more True Detective. And we hope you
Mm,
all have a great week. We are going to be back next week because we are back and better than ever. And we are in a new phase that we will be here consistently each and
yes,
every week. So we'll see you
that's right.
later.
See you next week. Bye.